Monsi Ministry. Monsi Ministry.
The 24 Catholic churches and 6 rites. What is the difference between a particular church and a rite? Something even most Catholics don't know. I welcome everyone watching this video to subscribe to this channel, where we share deep spiritual knowledge. When we hear the term Catholic Church, the first image that probably comes to our minds is that of the Latin Church. However, the Catholic Church is not a single, monolithic church. Instead, it is a grand communion of 24 autonomous particular churches, all united in the same faith. These churches are governed according to the Code of Canons of the Eastern Churches, promulgated by Pope John Paul II in 1990. Let us understand these 24 churches and their 6 rites in detail through the light of church laws. What is the difference between a particular church and a rite? We often use the terms particular church and rite interchangeably. However, they are entirely different. According to Church Canon Law, a particular church is a distinct community of the faithful that possesses its own structure of governance and law. There are 24 such particular churches within the Catholic Church. On the other hand, a rite refers to the liturgical, theological, spiritual, and disciplinary patrimony followed by a church. There are 6 major rites in the Catholic Church. In short, a particular church is the governing community, while a rite is the soul and tradition of that church. It is common for multiple particular churches to share the exact same rite. This is where we need to pay special attention to one important fact. Many people think that the Catholic Church means only the Roman Catholic Church, but the Latin Church is just one among the 24 members of this massive Catholic family. And the primary liturgical order used within this Latin Church is what we call the Roman Rite. To put it simply, Latin is the name of the church, and Roman is the liturgical way of worship that this church follows. Not everyone in the Latin Church is strictly required to use the Roman Rite. For example, those in Milan, who are very much part of the Latin Church, use the Ambrosian Rite. However, 98% of Catholics worldwide belong to the Latin Church and follow the Roman Rite. Let's now explore these 24 churches based on the 6 foundational rites of their origin. 1. The Roman or Latin Rite. This is the only church of Western tradition. It contains only one particular church, the Latin Church. This means that within the Latin Rite, there is only one particular church and one rite. This is the largest church in the world, led directly by the Pope of Rome. It accounts for 98% of the total membership of the Catholic Church. The Latin Rite developed primarily around the city of Rome. This church was established through the missionary works and martyrdom of the apostles, St. Peter and St. Paul. The official administrative language of the church is Latin. This is why it is called the Latin Rite. Although celebrating Holy Kurbana, Holy Mass, in vernacular languages has been permitted since the Second Vatican Council, all the foundational texts of the church remain in the Latin language. The Holy Eucharist in the Latin Church is called the Holy Massachusetts. Today, the Roman Rite is used across the globe. However, within this, there are smaller subdivisions like the Ambrosian Rite, Milan, and the Mozarabic Rite, Spain. They follow the Gregorian calendar. The celebration of the Nativity on December 25th is based on the Latin calendar. Just as the Eastern churches have theirs, the Latin Church has its own distinct code of canon law. The current Code of Canon Law was revised in 1983 by St. John Paul II. A unique feature of the Latin Rite is the mandatory celibacy for its clergy. The supreme authority of the Latin Church is the Pope of Rome. He is simultaneously the head of the global Catholic Church and the Patriarch of the Latin Church specifically. 2. The Antiochian Rite. This is also referred to as the West Syrian tradition. The Antiochian Rite is an Eastern Rite. The reason it is often called West Syrian is due to the geographical division within the East itself. Therefore, one must not mistake it as being part of the European or Latin Church. This rite originated in the holy city of Antioch. According to the Acts of the Apostles in the Bible, this is the very place where believers were first called Christians. The first bishop of Antioch was Saint Peter the Apostle. Hence, this rite holds immense apostolic significance. The foundation of the Antiochian Rite is the liturgy of Saint James, anaphora of Saint James, believed to have been formulated by Saint James the Apostle, the first bishop of Jerusalem. This order is one of the oldest surviving liturgical traditions in existence. There are three distinct particular churches within the Catholic Communion that follow the Antiochian Rite. The Syro-Malankara Catholic Church, headquartered in Kerala, India. This church became part of the Catholic Communion in 1930 through the reunion movement led by the servant of God, Archbishop Maronite. The Maronite Church, centered in Lebanon. A unique aspect of the Maronite Church among the Eastern Catholic churches is that it has never broken its communion with Rome. The Syrian Catholic Church, headquartered at the Antiochian Patriarchate in Syria. In the Antiochian Rite, the Syriac language is primarily used for worship. This is a dialect of Aramaic, the language spoken by Jesus himself. In their prayers, great emphasis is placed on the death and resurrection on the cross. Fasting and penance are integral parts of Antiochian spirituality. The Eucharist is called Holy Kurbana. Incense offering and highly symbolic rituals hold an elevated status here. Following Eastern tradition, married men can also be ordained to the priesthood. However, bishops must remain celibate. 3. The Alexandrian Rite. This is the liturgical tradition that took shape around the city of Alexandria in Egypt. Saint Mark the Evangelist established the church in Alexandria. Therefore, this is referred to as the tradition of Saint Mark. Alexandria was the greatest center of knowledge in the ancient Christian world. This city was the cradle of profound theological studies and monastic life. There are three particular churches within the Catholic Communion that follow the Alexandrian Rite. The Coptic Catholic Church, centered in Egypt. The word Copt literally translates to Egyptian. The Ethiopian Catholic Church, the church that follows the ancient Guizi tradition in Ethiopia. The Eritrean Catholic Church. This church was established in 2015 by separating from the Ethiopian Church. It is one of the newest particular churches in the Catholic Church. They use the liturgy of Saint Cyril, which is based on the liturgy of Saint Mark. The Coptic language, a variant of the ancient Egyptian language, is used for worship, while the Ethiopian churches utilize the Guizi language. 4. The Chaldean Rite, or East Syrian Rite. It is also frequently called the East Syrian Rite. This is the liturgical tradition that flourished in the ancient Persian Empire, encompassing modern-day Iraq and Iran. This rite evolved around Syrian in Mesopotamia. This church was established through the apostolic ministries of Saint Thomas the Apostle, Saint Adai, and Saint Mari. Hence, it is also known as the tradition of Saint Thomas the Apostle. Two churches follow this rite within the Catholic Communion. The Syro-Malabar Church, headquartered in Kerala, India. This church holds the second largest membership among all Eastern Catholic churches. The Chaldean Catholic Church, centered in Iraq. The Patriarch of Babylon serves as its head. Both churches under this rite primarily use the liturgy of Maradai and Marmari. This is one of the oldest continuous liturgies in the world. The liturgical language used is East Syriac, a dialect of Aramaic, the language spoken by Jesus. In this rite, the Holy Cross is reverently called the Martoma Sliva. 5. The Armenian Rite. When speaking about the Armenian Rite, the most historical highlight is this. In 301 AD, Armenia became the very first country in the world to adopt Christianity as its official state religion. The Armenian people embraced the faith through Saint Gregory the Illuminator. The church was established in Armenia through the missionary efforts of the apostles Saint Jude Thaddeus and Saint Bartholomew. The only particular church following this rite is the Armenian Catholic Church. It was officially reorganized within the Catholic Communion in the year 1742. Zumar in Lebanon serves as the spiritual center of this church. Their head is titled the Patriarch of Armenian Catholics. Distinct from other Eastern churches, this rite possesses only a single liturgical order. It is called the Armenian Liturgy. Classical Armenian is the language of worship. Despite historical influences from the Byzantine and Syriac rites, this rite strictly preserves a unique identity of its own. 6. The Byzantine Rite. This rite developed around Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul in Turkey, which was the eastern capital of the ancient Roman Empire. It is also commonly called the Greek Rite. The liturgies of Saint Basil the Great and Saint John Chrysostom form the core foundation of this rite. Out of the 24 particular churches in the Catholic Church, 14 belong to this single rite. The largest among them is the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church. The 14 churches under this rite are the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, the Melkite Greek Catholic Church in Arab nations, the Romanian Catholic Church, the Ruthenian Catholic Church, the Hungarian Catholic Church, the Greek Byzantine Catholic Church, the Italo-Albanian Catholic Church, the Russian Greek Catholic Church, the Belarusian Greek Catholic Church, the Bulgarian Greek Catholic Church, the Slovak Catholic Church, the Greek Catholic Church of Croatia and Serbia, the Albanian Greek Catholic Church, the Macedonian Greek Catholic Church. They generally use the divine liturgy of St. John Chrysostom. The most prominent characteristic of the Byzantine Rite is the holy icon or sacred images. They view the images of saints not merely as decorations, but as instruments of prayer and windows to the divine presence. Their churches feature the iconostasis, a grand wall beautifully adorned with holy icons that separates the sanctuary or altar from the nave where the congregation stands. The languages utilized depend on the respective regions, such as Greek, Slavonic, Arabic, and English. The Catholic Church is truly a vast ocean of diversity. As we have seen today, the Latin Church along with the 23 Eastern churches unite as 24 particular churches, celebrating the exact same mystery of Christ through 6 distinct rites. Despite differences in administrative practices, liturgical languages, and canonical systems, they all stand deeply bound in absolute faith, the same sacraments, and complete unity with the Pope of Rome. As St. Paul the Apostle proclaimed, though the body is one, it has many parts. Each of these particular churches acts just like those individual parts. I hope this video has given you a clear and profound understanding of the grand picture of the Catholic Church. This beautiful diversity brings unique color and splendor to the mystical body of Christ. May God bless you all abundantly.
Please subscribe, share, comment, like, and hype.